It was just snowing, and now the sun's out again. Kind of. Got Tuscany here. And look who's sitting on the couch. Giving me the side eye. I'm aware that this isn't usually where you guys see me recording from. I kind of used to do videos like this where I'd like bring you along into my day. Also, if you can see how red my chest is, just ignore that. I am not having an allergic reaction as much as it looks like it. My skin just has a hard time with the Toronto water. So we're not looking our best at the start of this video by any means, but you're slowly gonna start to notice my chest like bubbling. Don't be alarmed, just felt like spending a bit of time on my beauty regime this morning, romanticizing your life. I am actually alone for the next 6 days, and since moving to Toronto, I'm not used to kind of being on my own, and this kind of got me thinking about the topic of being alone and loneliness, and how society, I think, can make us feel as though if we're alone we will be negatively lonely, whereas I think there is such a difference in just like needing your own time, needing the space to understand what is going on in your world. I think there's a joy in the simplicity of just being with your own thoughts and doing exactly as you please. And again, I want to romanticize that, so we're kicking it off with some face masks. We are surrounded by cats today. Tuscany is joining me here. Thought that I would keep it just cozy and cute and have a conversation with you guys. You know, when I was in high school, I would often spend my Friday evenings, my weekends, very much just on the couch watching TV. TV shows were always my thing. And my mum would always like pose the question to me, like, why aren't you going out with friends? I always took this as an attack on her part, because I was trying to show her, like, look how comfortable I am, look how happy I am. This isn't sad feeling for me. This is very, very enjoyable for me. Of course, I now realize what this was. I was burnt out every week after school. I think that
I'm offering up this example because I think that this is very much the world that we live in, is always needing to be doing something with other people, and never just kind of it being okay to just have that time alone and it not looking sad. And so because you get reactions from other people, which I know my mum, didn't mean anything by it, but because you do get reactions from other people, you do think, is there something wrong with me? I also want to say I apologize for the changing light. You have watched this video and seen that we have gone from snowing to sunny to rainy, cloudy skies today. Hopefully that's a little bit more stable. But anyway, masking and the exhaustion that comes from socializing, masking that socializing ability, it's definitely one reason how autistic people socialize differently. I would say another few differences in our communication next to neurotypicals is certainly like not wanting to do kind of small talk on the surface, how's the weather, what have you been doing this week? Like that does not interest us and drains our battery. I mean, I can only speak for myself here, but it drains my battery like instantaneously. Like I'm ready to go home after having those types of conversations. We want deeper connections. Oh my god, Tuscany's going crazy. Do you hear that? As I was saying, if we don't find those deeper connections, I think we are very much okay feeling content in our own company. It's more draining to be around people that we, on a deeper level don't get on with than it is to kind of fake and mask and pretend that we do. And of course, it definitely comes down to the environments. I think that particularly if we are not comfortable, if we are overwhelmed sense-wise, I think we would so much rather just be in our own environment that we can control. For me, I have a very, very hard time warming my body up. And so this right here is a heated blanket that I got for Christmas, and it is one of the most amazing gifts that I've received. I use it every single night, and I have complete control over my temperature, the volume, the lighting of the room. Like, honestly, why would I really need to leave my home when I have all of this? These are the questions I ask myself. If you guys are around my age, or you have been around my age before, I'm 28, you most likely have dealt with the feeling of FOMO, the fear of missing out, particularly when you are young, and especially now that there is social media. We are constantly reminded of what we are and aren't doing, what we should and shouldn't be doing, and we consistently see on a 24-hour basis what everyone is getting up to. It is very hard to come to a place of finding acceptance of yourself, knowing that you don't kind of want to be doing those things, but the world around you is telling you that you should be doing something different than what you are currently doing. For those of you who don't know, I am from New Zealand, but I'm currently living in Toronto, and so obviously a change like that is going to be very destabilizing. A lot of my familiar comforts, familiar people do not live here, do not exist here. And so I've had to kind of reestablish and find new comforts and new people. And I think that I'm a lot faster with establishing those comforts, but perhaps not as many people, because I think right now I'm in this stage where people really, really drain me. Toronto is a very, very busy and packed city. And so I find that like I reach my social threshold just walking out the front door. And so really what this experience kind of has taught me is learning to be okay in myself. If I'm not going to be socializing with a whole bunch of people because all of my friends do not live here, well, then I need to find another way to start finding peace on my own. And so this was a very, very big lesson, how I stopped feeling lonely and how I started accepting my autism. If you're autistic, you will by nature be kind of a lone wolf. No doubt you have grown up feeling very isolated, feeling very different to those around you. Even if you had that diagnosis early on, I think that the way that our brains are structured does not kind of comply to the world that we live in. And so naturally, there is going to be this feeling consistently that so many of us experience, which is feeling just out of place. So the way that I have learned to stop feeling lonely and be more content within my own company is very much that, learning to enjoy my own company, learning to befriend myself and finding the humor in myself, learning to romanticize my life a little bit more. Something that I have been trying to start doing, and what you saw within this video while I was kind of making my lunch, is I try and find a bit of mindfulness within moments where I'm kind of going through the motions, going through my routines. Particularly if I'm like eating my lunch, I'm definitely trying to sit by the window and just take in the environment around me, the temperature around me, the sounds around me, and just kind of experiencing the happenings around me. I think as well, another thing that I'm trying to do is starting to honor my hobbies a little bit more, or at least find some hobbies. And what I have found with this is I'm almost going backwards a little bit in my years. So I feel like through my teenage years, they were particularly challenging because not a lot of myself, like I didn't have a diagnosis. All I knew was anxiety, and I really struggled with things going on in my home life and whatever. And so now at 28, nearly 29, I am now like almost regressing, and I'm like loving having my stuffed animals kind of everywhere. And I just bought some slime. I'm actually going to show you guys this real quick, like some of the things that I've been buying. 1 second. Okay, I have a whole show and tell to show you guys. So this was the slime that I bought. It's actually by the same brand, the Squishmallow brand, as my little stuffed pillow here. I'm obsessed with Squishmallows, and I don't think I was ever really into like stuffed toys. I mean, I had stuffed toys, but I never really was kind of into them as a child or a teenager, and now I'm like, oh my god, stuffed toys, everything, Squishmallows, everything. So this is really fun. Like, I'm loving that. If there's a particular fidget toy that I'm like really drawn to, these days I will just buy it because I'm like, why not? Like, if that's going to help relax me in some way and just bring a little fun to my life for the moment that I'm using it or buying it, like, I'm gonna do that. The other really cool thing that I bought and trying to get into is I bought a coloring book. This one I just bought off Amazon. It says Cozy Spaces. It's cute little drawings of spaces in your home that are a little bit more cozy. I'm going to show you guys the latest one that I did. That's possibly my favorite one that I did, and it just, I don't know, I just find a lot of enjoyment doing that. Finally, the other thing that is helping me to stop feeling so lonely is that when I am out in public, like, I just bought myself a brand new little handbag. This is kind of a crossbody type of deal. I made myself just this little sensory kit in here. So it's basically just got all the things. This is a pencil case as well, and it's got all the things that I feel like when I'm in public and I'm overwhelmed, it will help me to not feel so overwhelmed. So like hand wipes, Vicks Vapor Rub for when I feel like I can't breathe, deodorant, tissues, and then like just random bits and pieces. I feel like this in a way is helping me to take off my mask, because I'm like having these tools, this toolkit ready for me in public, no longer pretending like I don't need these things, like I do. Anyway, that was a whole lot of show and tell that I just did, and I wasn't anticipating to show you, but I hope that kind of shows you one way that I'm like trying to befriend myself. I'm not denying the things that I want or need. Nora's interested in what I'm showing. It's finding the right people that I feel that I don't have to force a connection with, and I don't have to force myself to be something different. And this as well is very new for me to do. I think I'm sure like so many of you relate to, we have felt like if there was someone who wanted to be our friend, we needed to accept their friendship immediately, because we felt like people wouldn't naturally like us for who we are. Also, that is not true, and I just want to tell your mind that that is not true, but it's certainly what I have felt in my life, and now I'm just a little bit exhausted by those people who were initially drawn to me, and I wasn't being very intentional about whether I wanted them in my life or not. I swear this lighting is probably annoying you guys. I'm so sorry. The final thing that I want to say is that it really comes down to accepting yourself and accepting that you will probably need more alone time than you do with other people, and that is not a flaw. That is just your makeup. It's just part of your wiring. And if it makes you feel any better, if you're feeling like on a Friday or Saturday night that you should be going out and you should be partying or you should be doing X, Y, and Z because that's what you've seen on social media, let me just remind you that I am probably most of the time going to be on my own, or if not on my own, in my house, watching TV, eating snacks, and being warm. And that's like a quality weekend night for me. So I hope that this is able to kind of answer the difference between feeling lonely and being alone as an autistic person. You can be alone and still be so completely content and happy in that. I think you can feel more lonely when you are forcing yourself to mask and small talk. At the end of the day, you're not antisocial, you're just autistic and have very specific needs. And that's okay. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys would like to see any more of my neurodivergent content, I am always posting. So I will link it down below as always. And I hope you have a fabulous day or night, wherever you are. Bye. Nora says bye too.